All right, guys, welcome back. Second half of today's podcast, Sunday, December 8th, 2024. MMAOB Daily Podcast. We just did the UFC 310 recap with our boy Alex Behunin from MMA Mania. That was awesome. Now, Marcel, we're going to preview UFC Tampa, and we're going to pull up our banner here from our boys at bet105.eu, Marcel. All of your betting needs right there, guys. We'll get the odds from them. Yeah, Marcel, obviously, we just did the full hour. And actually, it was like an hour and 20 minutes with Alex, which was awesome. Now we're going to UFC Tampa. So your overall thoughts on this card while I pull the odds up. What do you think?
I think it's a fun card. It's just a little bit of a weird, how do you say that? Weird bout order again.
It always is, isn't it, lately?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a pretty fun card, I think. Looking forward to this last card of the year. So I would say enjoy it, guys,
Yeah. You won't have a card for, what, another month or so?
3 weeks, yeah.
Oh. Nice to have a little break, guys, for sure, but
yeah,
we're going to miss the fights when they don't happen. All right, let's just get into it, guys. No time to waste. Let's get into the fights. We start with our first fight of the night here. We got Josefine Knutsson taking on Piera Rodriguez. And the odds for this one, Marcel, bet105.eu. Minus 233, Josefine Knutsson. It says Piera Angela Rodriguez Junta. That's what it says here. Plus 195.
Yeah, that's her real name.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
Piera Angela.
Yeah. Plus 195. So what do you think? Do you think Knutsson or Piera?
Yeah, I think Knutsson, man. I think Knutsson didn't look that good in the third round against what's her name again? The Brazilian chick.
The Psycho.
Jeez, Pilastri. Yeah. So, but she won the fight. She won against Marnik Man, but who doesn't? So if you look at Piera Rodriguez, she had that really bad fight. She was better, but she had that really bad fight IQ where she intentionally had but Ariane Carnelossi twice, and she lost. Then she had that weird ass armbar with Jillian Robertson, so she got 2 losses in a row. She really needs to win, I think.
Yep.
But I'm going with Knutsson, man. I think Knutsson wins the decision again. Knutsson is not like really entertaining, but she's really decent, and I think she's pretty. She's pretty good,
Yeah, I'm with you. I think she wins too. I think Knutsson's a good fighter. Like you said, like not a ton of finishes yet in the UFC. Obviously none, but they could come. I don't think this is the fight though. Piera is pretty tough. A lot of these women's fights obviously go the distance, guys. We know that at women's strawweight. Knutsson's kind of a decision machine at this point. I think this fight goes the distance. I think Knutsson by decision is probably the best bet here. What do you think so, Marcel? Knutsson by decision? Yeah. So yeah, we'll go to the next fight here, Marcel. We have a really fun fight here in the UFC bantamweight division between Davey Grant and Ramon Taveras. And the odds for this one have that 105 has minus 121 on Ramon, slight favorite here, and a slight underdog here to Davey Grant plus 105. So I'll let you start. What do you think?
I mean, for me, that's a crazy line, man. I like Ramon Taveras a lot, but I think Davey Grant is super underrated, man. I mean, he lost his last fight, but I think that could have been a win against Daniel Marcos, man, in England. So he could have been on a 3-fight winning streak, and at the same time, the Yanez fight was also very close, So I think I had Yanez winning that fight, but at the same time, I think it was close. So he lost to Marlon Vera. He got the Fight of the Night award or Fight of the Night performance in that one. So, I mean, I think the dude is pretty good, and he's really underrated. He's always been, in my opinion. Look at Ramon Taveras. He lost to Sari City on the Contender Series. Then he got the win on Contender Series against Cortavius Romeus at the same season. Made his debut in the first pay-per-view card this year against Sari City, and I think he lost the fight. It was super competitive. It was a fight of the night. It was fight of the night. I think it was super competitive, but I think Sari City should have won the fight. So for me, I'm surprised he's the favorite here. I think Ramon Taveras is a very fun fighter to watch, but I'm surprised he's the favorite over Davey Grant. I'm taking Grant here, man. I'm going with decision. I think Grant wins the fight. So I'm picking.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I mean, this one's a little tricky. I'm a huge Davey Grant fan. I thought he beat Daniel Marcos too, who fights on this card, by the way, which is interesting. We'll talk about him in a few minutes.
Yanez as well.
And Yanez too. I think he's very good. But the problem is, Marcel, he's 38. He's going to be 39 next week. So he's getting up there in age, and he's been in some wars. He's taken damage. Like, he's still fighting at a high level, though. I'll give him that. But the damage definitely is adding up. So that's the worry. And also, he's a guy that his face gets cut open. The judges, that's not something they love to see. With Ramon, it's interesting because you mentioned the fight with Sari City. I was there at cage side. Dude, he lost that fight. Like, no doubt in my mind. The whole crowd was booing. Obviously, City's Canadian, but they'd like to see the right decisions. I don't think he won that fight. It was competitive. I don't think he won. But again, Marcel, I love Davey Grant, but again, 30, you got a 38-year-old turning 39 next week against guys 30. So to me, that's difficult. So this one's tough because honestly, I really want to pick Davey Grant.
You're not going to write him off on his age. Come on, man. He's still fighting good.
I know, but it's not like Ramon's a bad fighter. He's decent.
No,
he's got good striking.
He's decent, definitely, man. But I don't think he's at the same level as Davey Grant, man. Do you think he is?
I don't know, but I think he hasn't fought in a year and a half. That's the other thing. He has a long way off.
That's true.
So that's the stuff that bothers me, the age and the layoff. I like him better, but I gotta pick with my brain. I could be wrong about this one. Don't get me wrong. This is slightly towards Ramon Taveras. I agree with you. I'm a little surprised by the odds. I thought it'd be the other way around, but I just can't. I can't take the guy that's going to be 40 years old like very soon. So, Marcel, I like to fade the older guys. So I love Davey Grant. I can't pick him here. I'll take Taveras by decision, like maybe decision, because I think it's going to be a good fight. I think it'll be a scrap. Actually, I think this fight should be higher in the card. I don't know about you, but this could easily be the main card. Right? Like this could open the main card, I think. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We got Miranda Maverick taking on Jamey-Lyn Horth, who took this fight on short notice, right? It was Tracy Cortez, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Miranda is getting a short notice opponent. Miranda, massive favorite here, minus 425, plus 330 on Jamey-Lyn Horth. I'm taking Miranda Maverick by decision. I just think she's going to be the more physically strong fighter, the better grappler, the better striker. I think she's got Jamey-Lyn Horth covered everywhere. I think it'll still be close, just the nature of women's flyweight fights. It'll still be like a competitive fight. But I think Miranda's going to land more takedowns, have more control time, and win decision. I feel pretty good about it by decision. What do you think?
So Miranda Maverick was on the main card originally against Tracy Cortez, and now she's not fighting Tracy. She's the third fight of the prelims. So that pretty much says what the UFC thinks about her and about Tracy Cortez. And I don't specifically agree with it. Yeah, she wins against Horth, man. I don't think Horth looked great against Petrovic last time out, I think she wants just... Even people gave it to Petrovic. I gave it to Horth at 5, but it wasn't great. She takes it on short notice, so kudos to her. But I'm thinking Maverick. Listen, if Maverick doesn't win this fight, she cannot complain anymore for not getting somebody higher in the rankings, So she should.
I feel like she should be ranked, to be honest with you. I think
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Or something. That Macy Barber. We talk about decisions that set fighters' careers back. Where you always talk about Ankalaev getting submitted by Paul Craig. Paul Craig, I should say.
Paul Craig.
It set his career back a few years. Like, I feel like the Miranda Maverick Macy Barber fight. Like, look at Macy's ranked like 5. Like, Miranda's not even ranked. So I feel like that decision really screwed her career. And that's the unfortunate thing about these judge decisions. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely taking Miranda. There's nothing that would make me want to pick Horth in this fight. I think it'll be somewhat competitive, but I still think Miranda wins. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. This is a fun one, and I think you were about to break this fight, and then the guys at front kick jumped in ahead of you. Felipe Lima taking on Miles Johns, and this is at featherweight. So keep that in mind, guys. Odds for this one, we have Felipe Lima is, let me pull the odds up. There's only like one site that has it right now. It's here. Minus 240, Felipe Lima, plus 205 on John. So Lima, pretty hefty favorite for a guy with one fight. I'm picking him. I like him. I thought he looked amazing in his debut. It was a really good performance. The odds seem a little heavy, Marcel, minus 240 against the guy Miles Johns, who's very tough, who's had a ton of fights in the UFC. So I don't know about those odds, but at the same time, like, I just think Felipe Lima looked amazing against Naimov. The potential's there. I like this kid. I'm not fading him. I'm taking Felipe Lima. I think he might even finish Miles Johns, to be honest with you. Could go to decision, but I think he could finish him too. Definitely taking him, though. I think the odds are a little elevated, but I have to pick the guy. What do you think?
To be honest, I really don't know. I mean, for me,
this is it's like the odds are off. Like, there's no way she minus 240. Like, that's really high. Because the fight with Naimov is close, right?
Yeah.
Up until
I really don't. Yeah, I really don't know, man. I think it will be a close fight. Oh man, I'm going with Johns by decision, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all.
Hit the button, then. You have a dog. You have a big dog. There you go. I mean, I think the finish was nice. Antoine, he's also young. But again, the Naima fight was, I think it was tied on the scorecards, if I'm not mistaken. It was like split, right, Marcel?
Let me look it up to make sure.
Pull it up. I think it was like one judge had a 2-0 Naima up, one had a 2-0 Lima, one had a 1-1. I think. I could be wrong. See what Marcel says, but I think the guy's good. John's one of those guys that finds a way to win. I mean, he's solid. Don't get me wrong, Drew. I agree, but he's lost some fights he could have won.
Scorecard: Sal Diamado had a 2x 10-9 Naimov. David Letterby had it even, and Vito Paolillo had it 2018 for Lima.
I called it, so my brain's still working properly somehow. But yeah, I think this fight's closer than the odds are indicating. I don't think minus 240 is a good bet, but I think the guy probably wins. He is a very good fighter. I'll say that. Good prospect. All right, let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. We got a fun one in the UFC featherweight division. We got Sean Woodson taking on Fernando Padilla. And the odds for this one have pull them up here, guys. That 105 has minus 165 Woodson, plus 142 Padilla. I'm going to take the sniper. I'll take Sean Woodson. I'll take him to win a decision in this fight. I think it'll be, again, somewhat competitive, but I think his striking he's going to throw more volume and win the decision. What do you think, man?
I'm also picking Woodson, man. I think he looks good so far, I kind of surprised with this matchup. I think he deserved a better opponent. I no disrespect there to Fernando Padilla, but I expected Woodson to fight closer to the top 15. But yeah, I'm picking him by decision as well.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with what you're saying, Marcel. Like, it's when a guy's on a nice win streak like that. By the way, there was that one fight a few years ago. What was that guy's name? It was like he like knocked him out and then he jumped on top of the cage. What was that guy again? I'm trying to think of his name before I check. Luis Saldana, remember that fight?
Yeah.
Is he still in the UFC? Or
I don't know. Somebody asked me all the time by DM, where's Luis Saldana? I don't know.
Dude, because he won the fight and then he screwed up. I think it was a draw. Yeah. Anyways, I think Woodson. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have a very good fight here in the UFC lightweight division between Joel Alvarez and Drakkar Klose. Two guys that aren't ranked, but very well could be. I mean, they're both very good fighters. Odds over here at bet 105. Huge favorite here, Joel Alvarez. I mean, I'm a little surprised by these odds too, I'll be honest. Minus 383, plus 300 and Drakkar Klose. Like, I think Klose is a good fighter. I think he's a very, very good fighter. I think he's very solid everywhere. But at the same time, Marcel, like, I'm going to pick Joel Alvarez. He's so dangerous. He finishes almost every fight. He's just super, super fucking dangerous. He's looked like outstanding as of late. Looked outstanding against Elvis Brenner. It was a really good performance. 2 losses to the UFC, Demir and Armand. Like, it's not like, they're bad losses. But you can say the same about Drakkar, right? Like, Darius and then the David Tamer, I'm sure he wants back, but at the time, David was a pretty good striker. I think Drakar's an underrated guy. I think the odds are a little bit elevated, Marcel, but I think Alvarez, after the last for Elvis Brenner, I have to pick him here. So I'll take Alvarez, and he probably finishes the fight because that's how he wins fights. I'll take Alvarez by TKO. What do you think?
I also got to pick Alvarez, man. I think Alvarez has looked really good. And like you said, he only lost in the UFC to guys like Tsarukian and Damir Ismagulov in his debut. So, I mean, he's pretty decent. The only thing is, like, he doesn't fight too often,
Yeah.
He got the great win over Brenner last time. I think I'm going to finish for Alvarez. I'm going to finish TKO for Alvarez.
No, I agree. Because he finishes fights. He's a finisher. Mm. Honestly, it's probably better just to go by him by stoppage, guys, instead of the money line. I would probably just take him inside the distance. Now, of course, there's the chance that, he wins a decision, but I think it's a slim chance. Like, I think if he wins, it's going to be a knockout. To be honest with you, Marcel, if this fight goes to 3 rounds, it's probably Drakkar wrestling him somehow and winning the decision.
Possible.
So, yeah. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have the last preliminary card bout. This card changed a bunch, Marcel. I know it's pissed you off, but they keep changing the card. Hopefully they don't do it again this week. We got Michael Johnson taking on Ottman Azaitar, and odds for this one have hold up here. Minus 185 Johnson, plus 154 Azaitar. What do you think? I'll let you start on this one.
To be really honest, I think Michael Johnson clearly wins this fight, man.
Okay.
So I think Michael Johnson, I know he has been really inconsistent, with his career. I think overall he's better. Definitely his wrestling is better. Azaitar doesn't have a ground game, in my opinion, or not a good enough ground game. He got finished in his last 2 fights, which I both called, by the way.
Yep.
I bet Michael Johnson here, man. Any day of the week.
This one's tough for me. You know what? Hit me the button. Hit the button for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced by any means, but I was leaning Ottman. I thought this fight's closer to a pick'em, to be honest with you. I think either guy can get knocked out here, but I think Johnson he's getting up there in age, man. He's 38. It's not like Ottman's not super young, 34, but 38. Taking a lot of damage. He has like 25 UFC fights at this point. I think if he wins, I think you're right. It probably have to be like wrestling him, like he did against Darius Flowers. That'd be the smart way to go about it. Because I think on the feet, man, he's gonna get hurt, dude, in this fight. So, Ottman's cardio is so bad, though. That's the problem here. But I think he could knock him out in the first round. So, not convinced, guys. I don't feel great about this one, but I'm slightly leaning towards Ottman Azaitar by knockout. So, yeah, I don't feel great about it. But Azaitar by TKO. Again, I don't feel great about this one. All right, guys, let's go to the main card here. We have a light heavyweight bout between is it Navajo? How do you pronounce it? Navajo?
Navajo, I don't know.
Yeah, Stirling against Tuco Tokkos, the Greek guy, Marcel.
Yeah.
Got the odds here, guys. Huge favorite, minus 633 Stirling, plus 450 on Tokkos. I mean, Tokkos has a puncher's chance, but I think he gets like pieced up here, Marcel, and probably knocked out. I'm definitely taking Stirling. I took him in the survivor pool, Marcel. I have to take him. I think he wins by first round knockout, probably. What do you think?
To be really fair, if you look at Stirling, he doesn't have too many MMA fights. Actually, crazy that in his debut he fought for a title. Yeah. So, and to be really honest, his wins aren't against the best guys. I think the guy he beat in the Contender Series is likely the best guy who he fought. Tuco Tokkos, he's been trying for years to get in the UFC. Very difficult, he got that. He won against Myron Dennis and Fury, and then he got short notice called to fight Umar Sy. It was a really quick fight. I think Stirling wins, but I'm not convinced, man. I don't know too much about Stirling yet to be so convinced, but I'm going with Stirling by maybe finish second round TKO.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think the odds are pretty high, but I think he knocks them out. I think also, and we talk about odds all the time on this podcast, obviously, especially when we do the previews. I think it's worth mentioning, Marcel, that there's more people betting on these fights now. There's smarter people betting these fights, and I saw True mention the other day he's like minus 300 is the new minus 200, and I agree. I think a minus 600 right now would have been minus 400 a couple of years ago. So you got to keep that in mind. There's just more people betting on fights. Sportsbooks are smarter. They know who's going to win for the most part. A lot of favorites win in the UFC. There's always a few upsets, obviously, but you look at it, it's minus 633. It's a little high, but when you think about it, he probably knocks him out. Maybe it makes sense. So I'm not taking Tuco Kokos, even though I love the guy Marcel because he's a fellow Greek. All right, Marcel, let's go to this fight. We have a fun one here between Adrian Yanez and Daniel Marcos. And Marcel, this is my pick for. I have two picks for fight of the night, but this is one of them. So I love this fight. And the odds for this one, guys, we have. Let's pull it up here. We have minus 170 Daniel Marcos, plus 140 on Adrian Yanez. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. I'll let you start. What do you think? Marcos is favorite. Yanez the underdog. What do you think?
I think it will be a close fight, probably. Listen, man, Adrian Yanez had a lot of hype with him until getting finished by Rob Font and then getting finished with Martinez. Really bad 2023. He pretty much, let's be honest, he got a comeback fight from the UFC, like somebody who could beat Vinicius Salvador. He beat him first round, back on track. Before that, he looked great, man. He got 5 performance bonuses in 5 fights. Daniel Marcos got a good win over Castaneda. I picked Castaneda in that fight, but I was wrong. The Arochi Lang one, we had no contest. I think he would have won that fight.
For sure.
Sorry. Yeah,
he would have won. I agree. Yeah.
And the grand fight, he won a split decision, and that was kind of an iffy one. So Man, I think we'll be super competitive. I think it goes 3 rounds, and I think will be a decision. And I'm going for Adrian Yanez here.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Hit the button then. Yeah, because you took a dog. I think it'll be competitive too, but I have to go with Marcos. I think he's a very good fighter. I think his striking is very, very clean. I know, like the fight with Davey Grant, I think he probably should have lost that fight, but the judges still gave it to him, so that's a good thing. And obviously, got that win over John Castaneda in his last fight, and I think he looked amazing in that fight. Adrian Yanez, though, I don't want to underrate him here because I think he lost to Rob Font and Jonathan Martinez, but I don't know if Marcos is on those guys' level. Like I think he's good, but I'm not sure. And Yanez before that was unbelievable. Like I picked him in all his fights, Marcel, until including the Rob Font fight, and they got knocked out. And then I picked him against him in the Jonathan Martinez fight. And then he, looked amazing against Salvador. I don't think he's in the UFC. It's gonna be a competitive fight. I think it's close. It's probably closer to a pick'em, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But light lean Marcos for me, Daniel Marcos. I think his striking dignity is cleaner. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have Vitor Petrino taking on Justin Jacoby, and this is in the UFC light heavyweight division. And the odds for this one have bet 105 minus 295 Vitor Petrino, plus 240 Justin Jacoby. I think the odds are a little high in this one too. I mean, I've said it a few times, but it's a little high. I guess they're just writing off Dustin after the knockout loss to Dominic Reyes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's fair, but at the same time, I mean, he's lost 4 or 5, so he's on the decline. Vitor, though, obviously coming off the loss to Anthony Smith, that loss looks horrible. Like in hindsight, it was a submission loss. It was quick, but looks horrible. That being said, I mean, before that, the guy looked pretty good. Like he was beating everyone. He was not only was he knocking out, he was submitting. He was wrestling looked good. So I think what, Marcel, I actually think he's going to wrestle in this fight. I think he won't stand and trade. He'll wrestle. I think this fight's going to be maybe surprisingly boring. I think it could potentially be boring, but I think Petrino needs to get a win. Needs to get back on track. So I'm going to take him to win, Marcel, but I think he's going to go a more grappling-esque route because I think that on the feet, like, why risk it with a kickboxer like Jacoby? So I'll take Petrino to win a decision by wrestling the guy. What do you think?
Petrino by ground and pound after taking him down, probably. That's by short. Second round.
You're confident?
Yeah. No, I'm pretty confident, yeah.
All right, let's go to the next fight
confident, but pretty confident.
Cruising through the preview, guys. No problem with that. We got the next fight. Manel Kape taking on Bruno Silva, UFC flyweight division. Awesome fight here between two guys that are very good fighters. Manel Kape is a huge favorite, minus 338. Bruno Silva, plus 270 underdog. What do you think of the odds on this one?
I think they're a little bit too high, man, to be really honest. Bruno Silva has shown that he's pretty good as of lately. He had a very bad start in the UFC, but he got together some good wins. And he finished third, man. Joshua Van didn't finish third, Yeah. So, and I don't say that because you're a massive Joshua Van, but
you're right, though. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Yeah.
So, and if you look at Manel Kape, listen, I like Manel a lot, but his pressers seem to be more entertaining than his fights, to be really honest. If you look at the Mokaev one, very bad fight in my opinion. The one before that one, the Felipe dos Santos fight, was a fun fight to watch, but at the same time, I don't think Felipe did really great in the UFC after that. I know he got a win, but I wasn't really impressed, as I was with him against the Kape fight. I'm going Silva here, man. I think Silva can do it. Yeah, there you go. I'm going Silva. I think, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Kape wins, and good for him if he wins. I hope he does well, but I'm going with Silva here.
Hit the button for me. We have a consensus dog, plus 270 dog too, big dog. I mean, I don't understand these odds at this one. Like, this doesn't make sense because Bruno's on fire. He's on fucking fire, guys. I like momentum in the sport. This guy's won 4 straight fights. He's destroying everyone, winning bonuses left and right. He's a good fighter. Not only can he knock you out, but Marcel, he also has some wrestling. He's not a bomb on the ground. Like, he's a solid, well-rounded fighter. I like Manel Kape. I mean, he might win a decision here. Like, very possible. Don't get me wrong. But the problem with Kape for me is, like, he can just be, like, frustrating at times. Because I remember betting him against Nicolau, like, 3 years ago now. But that fight was just so frustrating because, like, he had the advantage and just couldn't throw his hands.
Yeah, he pulled a Woodley.
Yeah, he did. And even the fight with Felipe dos Santos, it doesn't look great now, doesn't it? Right, Marcel? Like, it was competitive. These odds are way too high. I don't understand this at all. Almost a 4-1 favor for this guy. I don't get that at all. Bruno's got the power to put his lights out potentially. I know he hasn't been knocked out before, but it's possible. And Bruno could wrestle, and just Bruno can make it close. It's a flyweight fight. It should be competitive. I'm definitely taking the dog in this one. I'm definitely taking Bruno Silva. I'm doing it, Marcel. I'm doing it. So I'm with you, man. Let's do it. Let's take the dog. We have a consensus.
Let's
dog.
do it.
Let's do it. Let's go to the co-main event. We got Cub Swanson taking on Billy Q, Billy Quarantillo. Very fun fight. I told you guys I had 2 picks for Friday night. This is the other one, Marcel. Minus 160, Billy Q, plus 138, Cub Swanson over at bet105.eu. Marcel, you starting this one, man. What do you think?
You go with this one first. I have my pick.
I think it's close, honestly. I think it's another close fight. I'll tell you that right now. Just the way these guys fight. Like, I like Billy a lot, but he does get in these wars where he takes a lot of damage and he gets rocked, he gets dropped. It's scary to bet on this guy. Cub is 40 though, right? He's 40. He's 41. He actually turned 41 last month. So, I fade the 40-year-old guys all the time. I can't pick him because of his age, but I do think he looked good against Andre Fili. Surprisingly, I thought he, was competitive in that fight. And against Hakeem, I thought he lost, but the judges gave it to him. So he's still competitive in his fights. That being said, like, I just think Billy Q's going to eventually break him in this fight. I have to pick Billy. I think Billy, I think first round probably like Swanson, second round Billy, and third round Billy. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Close decision for Billy. I'm not really interested in betting on it or anything, but I think Billy edges it out. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Billy Q. He hates fighting in the Apex, so he's happy he's fighting in Tampa. I told him he better wins, or I'm going to call him Apex Q. I mean, I think it will be competitive, like you say, but Billy got the secret weapon in his corner. I think he will do well.
What's the secret weapon, Matt Favola?
No, Shane Burgos.
Oh, Shane Burgos. Oh, really? Wait. Shane Burgos is in his corner?
Yeah, man.
Are they friends?
Sorry, man.
Okay, something happened. Are they
friends?
My
TV. Yeah, they trained together, man. Shane moved to Florida, man.
Nice.
with his family, so they're training together.
Well, I mean, yeah, we should mention Billy. This is a hometown. I think he's from Buffalo, right? But he does train here in Florida, in Tampa. He has gym, right? His own gym.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. He's with Matt Arroyo, I think.
Yeah. Main coach. Former UFC fighter. By the way, I think that the Billy Q and Shane Burgos fight was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was an amazing fight.
Great. I thought, and that's my personal opinion.
Should have won fight night, right?
Yeah, but before that fight was the Chandler against Poirier fight.
Yeah. It was never going to win, Poirier. Right? But it should have won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Billy Q wins the decision. I think it will be a very fun fight. Great co-main event. Pretty much 2 veterans because Billy is also I think 36 or 37.
He's getting up there too, for sure.
Yeah.
Let me double check his age.
Billy he just looks young,
He's 30. He's turning 36 today. It's his birthday today. There we go.
Okay, nice.
Give him a shout. You should message him. You should send him a message.
Yeah, I'll do.
Yeah. So, by the way, remove limit breaks here. What's up, man? Glad to have you here. I'm reading the comments, guys. Sorry, we're kind of going through it quick, but we just did a huge podcast with Alex, so I don't want to spend all night here either. Yeah, send him a message, Marcel. I know he's a friend of yours. So, but again, 36 versus 41. There is a difference, brother. Trust me, there is a difference. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. This is the main event of the evening. And we have a 5-round welterweight bout between Colby Chaos Covington and Joaquin Buckley. And the odds for this one have, let's check it out here, over at Bet 105. Minus 274, Joaquin Buckley, plus 225, Colby Covington. I'm not picking Colby Covington. I'm just saying that. I'm not picking him. I'm definitely taking Buckley. And I'll tell you, Marcel, I think, he looks even better now after that win over Luque, after seeing what Luque did to Tampa, because, maybe it wasn't that Luque was shot. Maybe Buckley's just that good. He's looked incredible at welterweight, 5-0. He's knocking guys out left, right, and center. He knocked out Stephen Thompson. No one does that. Pretty much destroyed Nursultan Rudzaboyev, Marcel. That was a nice win, too. All his wins have looked good. Morono, Luque, the Fiala one, I mean, most people beat him, but still, Covington hasn't fought in a year. He's fought, he fights once a year now. He's looking terrible. He looked horrible against Leon Edwards, I thought. Obviously, he was the champ at the time. It wasn't like a bum. It's a step down, kind of like overall. I would say it's a step down. I mean, he did beat Masvidal, but it's a step down, I would say, from like Usman and stuff. But at the same time, like there's no reason to pick Covington. I just think he's on the decline. I think his wrestling's not going to be effective in this fight. And if it's on the feet, like Buckley's the better striker with massive knockout power. 5 rounds, I'm taking Buckley. I'll take him by knockout. I think he knocks him out. What do you think?
I'm going with the underdog.
No, he's taking the dog, guys. Holy shit.
I'm going with America's favorite.
I'm surprised. I got to tell you.
Yeah, I'm going with Colby, man. I'm still not sold on Buckley. I know all you are very sold on Buckley. I'm not, I think he's decent. He was struggling against Thompson, He knocked him out. I know he did. He doesn't get that same chance with Covington, I think. I think Covington is a better wrestler than he is. I think Covington goes wrestling in this fight. I think Covington wins the decision.
Wow, there we go. I'm not saying you're wrong because we haven't seen the fight yet, but I'm surprised. That's all I'm saying, Marcel. And people in the chat are surprised.
I'm just honest what I think.
That being said, he has been 5 rounds. He's proven he can go the 5-round distance. That is something to keep in mind, guys. With Buckley, I don't think he's been 5 before. Buckley's chin is it's not great either. He's been knocked out. I don't think Colby has the power to drop him, but maybe. We'll see. I like the fight though. I think it's a good fight. I'm glad Colby's back because it was pissing me off. He was taking up that like number 5 spot in the rankings. Marcel and not fighting. So, and I agree with this guy too. Like I think I like him. He's right. A few years ago I'd probably take Colby, but not now. I can't do it. Is Trump going to be there, Marcel?
I don't know. Maybe, but Dana's going to go to Tampa. So
I saw that. Dana, so he must be there, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Otherwise, he doesn't go to Fight Nights normally.
Trump's going to be there then, guys. We need Hall and Buckley too. You know what? That first fight, I mean, it was Buckley's debut. He got knocked out, but let me ask you a question. Who would you pick right now, Buckley or Holland?
Holland.
Oh, you'd still pick him. Okay. A couple other comments. Buckley's going to take down similar Albert Duraev. I picked him against Albert Duraev. Marcel was all over Albert Duraev. He always picks the Russian guys. Marcel was like, yeah, Albert Duraev's going to story Rocky Buckley. And I was like, you're wrong. I'm taking the plus 200 on Albert or on a Joaquin against Albert.
Brother, let me tell you.
Holland probably catches him. He might. Holland's a pretty good fighter. So it's possibly to win, but it's why Colby should win. You think they're going to bribe the judges or something, Blake? What do you think's going to happen? Layoff? Yeah, it's about a year. It'd be a year next week. Again, it's a step down from Leon. Like, I don't think, Buckley's at Leon's level, but maybe he is. I mean, he's great at welterweight. Yeah.
I got to take a massive piss, dude. Can you please?
Yeah. Dude, you could have just sent me a private message. You have to announce it to the world, but no, totally fair. All right, guys, we're going to end the podcast. Marcel, let's go to the bathroom. We did 2 hours tonight too, so we appreciate you guys joining us, but I think that's good time to end the podcast. Marcel, really quickly tell them where to follow you, man.
Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow Adam at MMAOB on Twitter.
What else?
And also next week we will be back with the recap of UFC Tampa. Plus we will do a fight announcement thing. I don't know exactly what, but we will also do some looking back, maybe looking forward.
I don't know if it's gonna be that week or the week after.
But maybe the week after, yeah.
We're going to do something for looking back on the year, and we'll look forward to the next year. But we got a couple of weeks. We're going to decide, but we'll definitely be back next Sunday, recap UFC Tampa and do some fight announcements. Really quick, guys. Marcel, you can go. I'll answer these guys. You can get out of here. I appreciate you, man. Blake, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. Remove Limbrick. Glad to have you here. Guys, have a great week. We'll talk to you guys soon. Good luck with your bets. Peace.